ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Last time we saw how the author of the Bodhasara talks about Brahma Yajna, what this Brahma Yajna is, and how to perform it. Yajna means some kind of a sacrificial ritual. Here he makes, of course, a word play on the concept of puja. A yajna as puja, puja as yajna, however you want to take it. And he talks at length about what this puja, quote unquote puja, is going to look like, because the puja here has to do with um, a metaphorical understanding of how one goes about uh, performing the acts of puja, but not with regard to a deity or a devata that is separate from oneself, but in relation to one's own body parts, one's own mind, etc., so that one comes to an understanding of the non duality which this text is always emphasizing. So, in this non duality, what does the puja look like? And so, again, just like we have seen before, the steps of the puja are going to be described, and those steps are going to be replaced by something symbolic and metaphoric, as we have seen in the past. But here, even though we have seen this in the past, this is much more what is that, with a kind of a twist, with a depth. So before it was, we encountered it in the previous section. We are now on section 17. In section 16, we saw various kinds of juxtapositions where this puja is concerned. And so one of the things we saw was, you wash the face with the water of Shraddha. And when you do namaskar, every single thing in the, every single finger stands for something, yama and niyama. We saw all that. But here, what the section that we are going to enter is something deeper, and you'll see how, because it's got many layers, and here it is querying the knowledge, and querying the knowledge to reflect the one's depth of one's immersion. And uh, these verses are very beautiful, and they make us they are designed to make us totally forget what is what is this duality, because there is that obfuscation of the worshipper and the worshipped, because that which is worshipped is the truth of oneself, the subject, not an object. And so what does the Brahma Yajna look like? So the Brahma Yajna here is a word play on the mantra in the Bhagavad Gita, a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that talks about the non-separateness of everything. And what does that do? That goes like this. In the 4th chapter, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is the typical Brahma Yajna. So if you wanted to do Brahma Yajna, Yajna centered on Brahman or Yajna for which the doer is Brahman, however you want to take it. And so then if you want to do that, what will it look like? Who is the sacrificer? Brahman. And then if Brahman is everything, then what is the What is the object of the sacrifice? In a general worship, fire worship, you have, a place where the holy fire is lit and you offer all these things. So, who is the offerer? Brahman. And Brahman being everything. And what is offered? Brahman. What is the mode of offering? Brahman. Okay, any question I ask, the answer is Brahman. Okay, so what is the mode of offering? Brahman. And what is the effect of offering? Brahman. And so, in this way, even though there is action, this action just negates all activities. This is a so-called action because really, when the recipient of the worship and the agent of worship are one and the same, then what is there to talk about? How, what kind of a worship is it? So symbolic worship, and the worship, quote unquote, here is more in the form of the recognition of everything, starting with oneself, one's own body, mind, sense complex, and one's own I sense as Brahman. And so that is how this is, this whole section is a very nice play on this Bhagavad Gita verse. So, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. So, in that sense, it goes deeper. It is not just very obvious what, okay, the finger stands for Yama, Niyama, and the face stands for, the Antahkarana, the water stands for Shraddha. That was also very enjoyable, but this is a different level of engagement. So let us understand. So section 17, worship, meditating upon. It says the title is Atha Deva Puja Nirnaya. Nirnaya means is certain ascertainment. Ascertainment of what this Deva Puja is. So what this puja is going to look like, an ascertainment of all that. And so what is this ascertainment? Let us see. मायाशक्तिविलासतो न गणित ब्रह्माण्डभाण्डोदरे क्रीडाकौतुकसम्भ्रमात्मकमपि प्रत्यक्प्रकाशात्मकम् ध्यात्वा किञ्चिदचिन्त्य चिद्घनरसं स्वानन्दसत्ताद्वयम् सिद्धान्तस्वरसेन पूजनविधिं वक्ष्यामि विश्वात्मनः मायाशक्तिविलासतो न गणित ब्रह्माण्डभाण्डोदरे क्रीडाकौतुकसम्भ्रमात्मकमपि प्रत्यक्प्रकाशात्मकम् ध्यात्वा किञ्चिदचिन्त्य चिद्घनरसं स्वानन्दसत्ताद्वयम् सिद्धान्तस्वरसेन पूजनविधिं वक्ष्यामि विश्वात्मनः vakshyami. In this kind of a complicated verse, you always catch hold of the verb. Vakshyami, future tense. And what does it mean? I will elucidate, I will speak of, I will unfold, I will describe. So what will you describe? What will you unfold? And then vakshyami, and I will, I will vishwatmanah pujana vidhim vakshyami. Pujana vidhim vakshyami. I will describe, I will unfold the steps of the puja. Whose puja? Now, if you say, okay, I'm going to describe the worship, okay, who is the recipient of this worship? Immediately, that's a very pertinent question. Vishwatma, Vishwatman. Vishwatma is that Atma which is the truth of the whole universe. In the Mandukya Upanishad, there is a technical term called the I as the waker gets a technical term called Vishwa. Vishwa means the individual waker, that is, of course, related to and in connection with the waking world. Vishwa. And then what? And then Vishwa, and then the other, the waking, the waking world to which one relates or one, wakes up related is called Virat. Ishvara in the form of the world to which one connects as soon as one wakes up is called Virat. Virat is the collective, Vishwa is the individual. Here, by using the word Vishwatman, so you can say, the Atma of the entire Vishwa, Vishwasya Atman, and Vishwasya Atma, you can take it as the what is that called, the Tatpurusha Samasa, you can elucidate this compound as the Atma of the entire universe, which is Bhagavan, which is you, which is one, or Vishwam Atma Yasya, that the whole universe is the Atma of which, that is what it is, that Bhagavan here, which is non-separate from the universe, which is non-separate from you. And who is this you? The author who is describing here, and the people who are reading this verse, studying this verse, that is all of us. And so everybody is included in here. And so there is only one Atma for the entire Vishwa. Why single out Vishwa? Why not the sleeper or the dreamer? Because the idea is to live, in the sleeper, there is no universe that the sleeper has to deal with. So the sleeping person is not in need of the Shastra. Sleeping person, the Shastra is not for the sleeping person. Why? Sleeping. That's why the person is asleep. So even if you tell the Shastra, they are not available to understand. So the Shastra is not for the sleeping person. And the dreaming person is also, the Shastra is not for the dreaming person, because the dreaming person is actively creating a separate universe for themselves. The dreaming person is creating a separate universe for themselves, and so they are not available for what you have to say. They are just seeing some sights, sounds, and butterflies and rainbows in their dream, hopefully, and so they are not available for seeing this kind of understanding this kind of oneness, etc. And then the dreaming person is in a solipsistic subjective world called pratibhasikam. It is a world that is completely inward, meaning it is based on the kind of the dream world that they are living in. The dreamer is living in a dream world that is composed of their memory and their desire. And so that is what is the subject matter of the dream. The raw material for the dream is what you know, your memory, your own knowledge, which is in the form of memory. So you can't dream what you don't know. Oh, but I did dream of a man with horns. Men don't have horns, so I don't know a man with horns. Well, you know man, yes. And wild animals that have horns, bisons and elk and all these things, yes. And so perhaps men who behave as though they have horns. So therefore, you dreamt of a man with horns. No big deal there. It's still your memory. It is still your knowledge. And what? Plus, also there is stirred in your desires. What you desire, you see. Whatever you desire, you see. And so, such a person is not available for the instruction of oneness, etc. Why? Because they are in their own world. The sleeping person is completely in Ishvara's world, meaning there is no duality there, so the instruction is neither possible nor necessary. So the instruction is not possible or needed when there is no duality. And the dreamer's world has duality, but the dreamer is completely immersed in their own subjective world. There also the Shastra is not needed and not possible also to impart. So that leaves one in the waking world alone. So, Vishwatmanah, so this Ishvara who presides over the waking world, who is the Atma of all Atmas, who is the Paramatma, and who is myself alone. When is Ishvara myself? Simple. When I stop complaining. Okay. Yeah. When I stop complaining, instantly I become Ishvara, become within quotes. And then when I start, when the complaints start, "Nah, what? Why? Why me? What's going on? Who is this?" Then immediately Ishvara is given as a figurative whack on the head, and then the jiva rises, and then the jiva preponderates. The minute you stop complaining, Ishvaratva, the feeling of this oneness, contentment, it's right there. It's right there. Now, why can't I be little bit of Ishvara and little bit of Jiva at the same time? It's like saying, why can't light and darkness preside over the same area at the same time? Is that possible? Of course not. Because as soon as light comes, the darkness goes away. Like a cockroach scurrying as soon as you come home and turn on the light. All kinds of unsavory things. Only difference is the cockroach comes back because when you switch off the light. Here, this knowledge never is switched off. It's already there because the Atma is self-effulgent consciousness that never is not. It always is. And so therefore what? So therefore this so where is this Ishvara? Right there. How to get in touch with Ishvara? Stop complaining. Stop complaining outwardly and stop complaining inwardly also. Because sometimes people master the art of not complaining outwardly. They will plaster a smile on the face. How are you? Fine, fine. Let's talk about the weather. Oh, it's so hot. It's so cold. It's so impossible. You know what this climate change is doing? You know why? Even though this climate change is bad, the only good, quote unquote, good thing about it is it's given a lot of material to talk about. So you can talk about endlessly about climate change and not really address the gaping wound within. So some people have mastered the art of really presenting a face to the world that is calm, that is collected, that also appears to be quite contented. But this is far from the truth. And this is what what is that, in England and all, it is called keeping the stiff upper lip. So only the lower lip smiles. The upper lip is supposed to be stiff and not showing any expression at all. And that's why in England, if you greet somebody, how do you do? They don't answer. At least in America, they say fine or whatever. And even that may be that may not be the complete truth. But they will say, okay, fine, I'm fine. But here in England, they will ask the same question back. How do you do? How do you do? Finished. Hot, isn't it? Yes, very hot. It is. Isn't it? Yes, it is. And this is how the conversation goes. Why? Because there is obviously it is painful to look at oneself. Oneself means the jiva self. Very painful to look at the jiva self. Why? Because it's a litany of complaints, and either it feels victimized or it wants to just to slaughter the reputation of everyone and everything in the universe with its tongue, and then this is what it wants to do. And so, therefore, there is really very little contentment in Jivahood. Yeah. So, in Jivahood, there is very little contentment, very little restfulness, very little acceptance, very little just a sense of peace, very little peace, calm, tranquility, nothing. And so Vishwatman means that when one stops, when the complaints stop, that which obtains in those moments of sitting quietly by oneself without complaining outwardly or without internalizing it and then lamenting inwardly. So, lamenting inwardly is called worry, chinta, and then lamenting outwardly is called vilapa. Anybody who listens, you catch hold of them and talk about all the terrible things that have happened to you, and in the spare time, you keep reviewing that in your mind and then just becoming flat. This is what this is what is the problem. And so then what happens, so, vakshyami pujana vidhim vishwatmanah pujana vidhim vakshyami. How to do puja for this? And obviously, we need some instruction here, because who is the doing the puja? Vishwatma. Who is the recipient of the puja? Vishwatma. So, do I buy some flowers and garland myself? Do I buy some flowers and put it on my head and heart? What do I do? Figurative. Figurative, because it's very difficult to bypass the ahankara, the I notion that is what is that, engaged in the act of this puja. And the beauty of this verse is that it tells us, it's a very fantastic verse, because it tells us how to precisely bypass that I notion. So that's how it starts with a nod to the duality. How this pujana vidhi, how this puja is going to be elucidated here starts with a beautiful nod, an acknowledgement of the duality, the so-called duality in which we all live. And so it starts with a ode, a praise or an acknowledgement of Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti Vilasatah. So that area, that reign, that place where Maya Shakti, Bhagavat Shakti. Maya Shakti is not some kind of a interloper here, some kind of an impostor that is taking away Bhagavan from my life. No. Maya Shakti is Bhagavan's power. Bhagavan's power to create, sustain, and it was manifest in your heart, in the people's heart, as the power to desire, the power to act, and the power to know. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. And this is what this is the goddess in one's life. Anything you're able to do, anything that you're able to manifest, anything that you're able to accomplish is because you are in tandem with Ishvara's Shakti. You're connecting to the goddess after bypassing the reverse form of this Shakti, which is which is ajnanam, jada, which is as good as which makes one as good as inert. So this Shakti is there in the universe as the manifest universe, as the manifesting power. And to plug into that Shakti, plugged into that Shakti, the person is able to accomplish great things. But in order to do that, one has to skip over this puddle, one has to skip over this sludge, and and there is no knight in shining armor coming to put the coat. There is some what is this? There is in the English history, there is one thing that one knight put for the queen or something, took off his own coat so that she could walk over the coat instead of getting her shoes and stockings muddy. Here, there is no knight in shining armor putting a coat for you to walk on. You have to be able to learn how to skip that sludge. And what is that sludge? Atma Ajnanam, and all the possible iterations and manifestations of that self-ignorance in the form of complaints, in the form of judgment, self and other, relating to the self and other. So judgment, self-flagellation, critique, self-loath, all that has to be, that is all the brood. Those are all children of self-ignorance. And then they are all, they have been playing in this dirt of self-flagellation, etc. And they want to get you also dirty. You say, no, I'm going to skip over you. I'm going to leap. I'm going to leap into that. I'm going to take this quantum leap into that Shakti, Ishvara's Shakti, I'm going to be with. And that is called, that is like the leap of Hanuman. Hanuman was standing at Rameshwaram, which is the southern tip of India, and he was standing there, and he had to jump. Why couldn't he take a boat? Because he's a Vanara. Vanara means whether human or not, there was a doubt. So the boat people are not going to let somebody like this, so a humanoid person, to say, okay, ferry me across. Yeah, right. And also the seas are very choppy in those parts, very, very, because there's the meeting of the oceans. It's very difficult there. And and so what to do? And so you leap. That's you know how to leap. You leap. But even Hanumanji had several moments of self doubt there. Standing there, he had a lot of self doubts. What if I underperform? Then into the jaws of a shark, shark food, and then and I will not be able to do this. And so he was standing there, just wondering, in self doubt. This is the leap. See, everybody wonders: did this leap really happen? Did Hanumanji really happen? For that matter, was there really a character called Hanumanji? For us, all that doesn't matter. What Hanuman represents matters. It's all an allegory. What Hanuman represents? Hanuman represents Shraddha, faith, trust, pending understanding. There is a trust. This is what has to be done. I think I can do it. I have to do this. There is no other option. That is what he is the bhakta. He represents bhakti and shraddha, reverence, devotion and trust. That is the internal demeanor of a person who is ready for this kind of a puja described here. And then the water here, the choppy waters before reaching Sri Lanka, is what? That represents all the broods of Atma Ajnanam, the internalized Maya Shakti in the form of ignorance, in the form of what is that? Slothfulness, in the form of doubt, in the form of despair. He has to cross to the island. And what does the island represent? The island represents a place where Sita is. And what is Sita? Shanti. Sita is Shanti. Sita is knowledge. That's why she's called Vaidehi, without a body. She's knowledge that doesn't really, is not embodied in a single book or a person or anything like that. She's that knowledge. Also, she is Vaidehi because that knowledge which makes you understand that you are not the body, she represents that body. And this leap in the waters full of seaweed, crocodiles, and all kinds of things. This is the leap of Shraddha. And this is the leap from going from this personalized, individualized, customized Maya Shakti in the form of embracing the self ignorance, embracing the self doubt, nurturing the desperate mind, nurturing the despair, nurturing the disenchantment with victuals of with vital victuals of criticism. And the more you critique, the more disenchanted you get. That is how it is. And the more jaded you get. So Hanuman had to cross all over that in order to get Shanti. In order to get goddess Sita, Shanti, he had to search for her. Even having gone to the island, he had to search for her. And he stands there in complete self-doubt. He thinks I can't do it because he looks at the other monkeys. And there are monkeys who are 7 feet tall, who are huge. And Hanumanji is also tall, but not that tall. He's also strong, but he feels I'm not as strong as all these other people. And then an elderly mentor, Vanara, comes and gives him a pep talk. Says, you know what, if you keep standing here wondering if you're going to do it or not, put one toe in and one toe out. And this is not the way to go about it. You make the resolve. Oh, what if I fail? Well, at least you will go down trying. and, and what's the point if you just die away without trying? Think about the regret afterwards. At least you know you will have tried. You'll have done your best. You know that you've attempted the leap. This is the leap. The leap over self-doubt. The leap over the feeling that I can't give anything of myself anymore. I'm all spent. I'm exhausted. I have nothing to give to the universe. The leap over the leap over some kind of a scarcity mentality, and the leap over all the emotions, the mastery of all the emotions, the smallness, the anger, the doubt, the despair, the fear, and sorrow, of course. Sorrow, greed, avarice, all this. That mastery, this is the leap. And there is no bridge. You are the bridge. Yeah, you are the bridge. This is the abridged version of the vision. Okay, you are the bridge. There is no bridge. This is the bridge. You have to build the bridge as you go. And that's how the Vanaras ultimately end up building the bridge. The bridge is made of just Shraddha. That is what it is. And so from the wrongly internalized Shakti of Bhagavan, which appears as ignorance and its broods, self-doubt, fear, sorrow, I go to that Shakti, which is the manifesting power of the Lord. So she is the goddess that's going to save me, because she is the one that put me in this situation to begin with, as a result of my own karma. And so this is a leap from the subjective realm to the objective realm of Bhagavan. From Pratibhasika, the subjective realm, to the Vyavaharika, the objective realm. No, but why not go straight to Paramarthika? You cannot. You cannot deny Ishvara in the form of the manifest universe. We live in a manifest universe. So that universe has to be acknowledged as Bhagavan, as God, as a manifestation of God. So first, one learns to get out of the trappings, the cage of one's own subjective iteration of what this life is all about, what this life is like. And like Hanuman, with the pep talk of the elder, here perhaps symbolized by the Guru, the Jiva, musters up all the Shraddha and the confidence that it can get, and then takes this leap, dares to take this leap into the leap is symbolized by a sankalpa, a promise made to oneself to live in the objective world as much as possible and not in the subjective world. So the Maya Shakti shines. Vilasataha. So she reigns, she shines. How? Naganita. Naganita means in innumerable ways. Ganita, which is numbered. Aganita, innumerable forms and ways. Where? Brahmanda Bhandodare. In this Brahmanda, in this extended Brahman, in the form of this Jagat, in the form of this universe, she shines. and she has the power of projection. The power of projection means she shines in so many forms. Every name, every form shines. And then the power of projection has the power to distort my vision. Why? Because each name and form is so perfect, so beautiful, so alluring, so entrancing that I forget my way. I get lost in the finite, even though I am the seeker of the infinite. Although I am the seeker of the infinite, I end up seeking infinitely, which is not the correct thing. Better to be the seeker of the infinite than an infinite seeker. At least then the quest is finite. If the subject matter of your quest is infinite, then the quest is finite. Otherwise, if the subject matter of the if the object of your quest is finite, then you become an infinite seeker. You keep on seeking. This life seeking. Next life seeking. Third life born seeking. Fourth life seeking. No fun. Bored. Because what you seek is not what you want. What you seek is not what you want because the seeker happens to be that which is sought. And until one understands this, one is in the subjective realm of action, reaction, desires which overpower one, and likes and dislikes and wants and don't wants. This is the human predicament before Vedanta. And so, how to accomplish this crossing is very beautifully written. First, a little ode to Maya Shakti. She shines and she dances in numerous innumerable ways in this jagat, which is all Brahman alone. And then Krida Kautuka Sambhramatmakam. So she is full of play. Oh, you didn't get what you want again. Yippee, she says. Yet one more time. What you want is not what you got. What you got is not what you wanted. Yippee. For her, it is play because she knows that you are not separate from Ishvara. And thereby, her also, she is not separate from this Shakti. You are not separate from the wielder of this Shakti. But it is all play because you are right now coming under the spell. So, Krida, Kautukam is full of excitement, surprise, and enthusiasm. And this is the human predicament. Even though one has gone through it all, still the next time something happens, oh, I never imagined this would happen to me. Oh no, why me? Well, it also happened last time. You said the same thing last time. Maybe, but I never thought these people would behave so badly. I gave them the benefit of doubt. That's your problem. Oh, so you think I should be distrustful all the time? No, I'm not asking you to be distrustful all the time. Once you touch a hot kettle, you have an experience. Okay, it can even be called a spiritual experience. And then what is the experience is as good as what you know. And what do you know? Do not any longer henceforth touch the hot kettle. Still you go and touch it the next time. And then you blame the kettle, you blame the gas underneath the kettle, and you blame everything, and you blame your karma. The Saturn changed yesterday, 29th of April. Saturn changed 30th of April. It must be because of that. Poor Saturn. No, most the worst reputation of all planets, perhaps other than Rahu Ketu. And so all three of them are just maligned. It must be Saturn. Oh no, your Saturn is fine. It must be Rahu. Who? Rahu. That's who. And this is what it is. And here there is no understanding of action and consequence. You're engaging in the same action each time and expecting a different result. You're wanting to touch the kettle because why? It's an object of desire. It shines. It's nice copper kettle shining on the shining on the stove, and it's whistling merrily. Ooh, let's see what that holds. I want this, and then you embrace it with both hands. You try to hold it with both hands. One time burnt, two times burnt, three times burnt. This is what is kautukatmakam. Kautukatmakam is full of surprises. Surprises within quotes, because there is really no reason to be surprised. It's all a deja vu. Everything you have done, everything you have experienced in some form or the other. Unless, of course, you are 2 year old. We are not talking of 2 year olds. By the time you're an adult, most things you have experienced. And by the time you're 30, almost everything you have experienced. By the time you're 60, it's all a rerun. Everything is a rerun. That's all it is. And then still you don't know the ending. Even though you have binge watched this many times, you still don't know the ending. You still don't know how it proceeds. So that forgetting is avarana shakti of Maya. That is because of this thick layer, the veil of ignorance. That is also the second way in which the Maya manifests. Maya manifests as the projective power and as the veiling power. So that forgetting each and every encounter, and that the inability to cull the lessons from that encounter and apply it into one's life, and thereby retreat from all those activities which are keeping on giving the same outcome, is somehow missing in the infrastructure. It's not missing, it's just hidden. The instruction booklet is there, but somehow it is with all the other papers. It has to be sorted out. It has to be sorted out. And until that is done, until the priorities are sorted out, everything will appear, it's just mystical, at the same time disappointing. Or maybe this time it's not disappointing. How can it not be disappointing? Maybe this time it'll be different. Said the person of their fifth marriage. How can it not be disappointing? You know? And so this is what it is. Everything ultimately will be disappointing. This is the understanding. Why? As long the things are not disappointing in themselves, as long as you think about the things as giving you that which you want, which is really this Vishwatma, the truth of yourself. Knowing yourself as Bhagavan, as that oneness, until you know that, until you understand that, it will be disappointing. It will totally be disappointing. There is no other way it can be. Be totally disappointing. And so, therefore, this it is krida. It is from the stand for you. It is not krida. Krida means play. For you, it's not play. For you, it is detention, lifelong detention with a dunce cap on the head, facing the wall. That's what it is. And from the standpoint of Maya Shakti, it's all play. Oh, the whole Jagat is beings with a cap. I am stupid. One person says. One person's cap says. Another person's cap says, I am with stupid. And so, like this, this is what the situation is. And so, better to understand this. And so from the standpoint of the person identified with the body, mind, sense complex, identified with all the finite objects, thinking that these objects, events, people, and situations will give me infinite happiness, this is the problem. This is the problem. And so for that person, everything is a surprise. And everything is the play of Maya. Maya, Leela. Leela means some kind of a krida, same thing. So this is some kind of a play. And in this play, Maya is the cat, you are the mouse. Okay, yeah, so that is the play. So from the standpoint of the cat, yes, it gives it one whack and then it doesn't, kill it. Then it's no fun. Yeah. The mother cat, teaches the kitten completely opposite of what the human mother teaches the child. The human mother tells the child, do not play with your food. And the mother cat teaches the kitten, come on, why are you not playing with your food? You have to play with your food. Then only it's fun. Catch, kill, conquer, then eat. And so it'll give the mouse one whack. and the poor mouse doesn't know what hit it. And then it's all, just like in the comics, it has circles of bells, whistles, and birds. And then it slowly comes to and says, okay, that wasn't too bad. I still know who I am. I know where the mouse hole is, and it's just a few yards away, and I think I can escape. It looks a little bit to the left and right, but it doesn't have the full vision, full, range of vision. And then it's injured a little bit in the left foot. Slowly it drags itself, and then it gets a little more confident. Then it runs a little more. Whack! Another one. This time it's upside down with its legs sprawled in the air. And so, like this, if you don't know the play, you are the mouse. The cat is the catch is Maya. The catch is Maya here. Maya is the catcher. And that Maya is Atma Ajnanam. Your own wrong notions trap you. And then somehow, with the grace of Bhagavan, you get out from under it, only to be trapped again and again. This is Krida Kautukam Atmakam. This Maya Shakti is in the form of this Bhagavan endowed with Maya Shakti is in the form of this universal player with people's karma. Karma Phaladata, he appears to play. She appears to play. She appears to mess with people's minds and destinies. But don't that is not where to focus on. For this Deva Puja, that is not where to focus on. Krida Kautukama Sambhrama. Sambhrama means full of delusion. Nicely deluded. Oh, Maya is deluded? No, no, no. One under the spell of Maya is deluded. Sambhramatmakam. Krida, all play, Kautukam, enthusiasm, etc. Surprise element. That is, that surprise element can be a natural wonder of everything as Ishvara. That is the objective part. Objectively, the universe is a place of play and wonder. Subjectively, if that is not understood, then it is this kautuka, this surprise and this wonder leads to a constant, the wonder internalized wrongly leads to constantly being surprised by the same events and the same outcomes, and yet unwilling or unable to disengage from the series of events that lead to those outcomes. And then that is the kautuka turned inwards, and then sambhrama, that is because of the delusion. The delusion. Sambhramatmakam, even though it is like this, api, even though pratyak prakashatmakam. Don't go with the what is this outer world that you see, that you can grasp, that you can objectify. Go straight to the place from which this whole universe has emerged. That light of consciousness, which obtains as I. Pratyak means within. Within what? Within your own body, mind, sense complex. There is the light of all lights that says, I am, I am, I am. And that I am never becomes I am not. Never becomes anything other than I am. And that I am is the basis of the entire creation. Your presence, and that I am is as good as I know I am. And I know I am endlessly. This Satchidananda is the raw material of the whole universe. Every single finite name and form has the presence of the infinite Satchidananda. Satchidananda plus a finite icing. That's what it is. And everything, finite is what is the adhisthana, the basis for everything that is finite is infinite. That Ishvara is in every heart, in every name, in every form, as the ever broadcasting message, I am now, I am now free, I am now all pervasive, I am now without complaint. I am now tranquil. Connect to that which is the source of all this. Pratyak Prakashatmakam. So don't get dazzled by the names and forms in this puja. This Vishwatma, when you look at, when you look at the Ishvara in the form of the waking world, that means all the names and forms will be there. So transcending the names and forms is not easy without this knowledge. And he assumes, Bodhasara writer, the author Narahari, assumes that you have had enough. Now we are on chapter what 17. So chapter 17, we've had enough. What is that? We've had enough. No, actually, it's not chapter 17. It's chapter 16, part 17. We've had enough instruction about this, about Maya Shakti, about Bhagavan, about how to live in the objective world without the subjective trappings. He assumes that. And so he says, therefore, connect to that which is pratyak, inward, prakashatmakam, which is the inward eye. The inward eye, which is the source of the entire universe, which is in the form of ever present consciousness, awareness. Awareness of what? Itself. Itself. That is the first thing. It is self aware. And everything becomes aware to which? That is the I. And so, this is what is the object of meditation. Before puja, you start with a little meditation. And that is the meditation here he is doing. He says, I'm going to connect to that. And then dhyatva. And having meditated upon what? Kinchit, something. Achintya chidghana rasam. The unmeditatable consciousness. Consciousness cannot be an object of meditation. Why? Because the truth of the meditator is consciousness. You can meditate upon a banana. Banana, banana. Yes, you see it and you enjoy it even there. Chocolate cake. Yes, you can meditate, contemplate endlessly on a piece of chocolate cake. You can meditate on a fruit. And then consciousness. How are you going to meditate upon consciousness? It has no name, it has no form, it has no attributes, it doesn't live in a particular place, it is all pervasive, and then it is you. How are you going to meditate upon it? That's what he says, achintya chidghana rasam. So the I is not really speaking an object of meditation. Because as Adi Shankara says in the Kathopanishad, aparam chet, if we are talking of Sagunam Brahma, if we are talking of Bhagavan in a particular form, Parvati, Shiva, Vishnu, Lakshmi, etc., then you can meditate. When you visualize Goddess Lakshmi in shining ornaments and gold coins dropping out of her everywhere, you can visualize like that because it is aparam brahma. Aparam means it is the Bhagavan with name and form. Then you can meditate upon the name and form. But then param chet, if it is param, it is not aparam, it is not with name and form. Here we are talking about that presence because of which all name and forms exist. We are not talking about any particular name and form specifically. Then there is the impossibility of meditating. What can you do? Param chet jnayet. Not dhyayet. Jnayet. May one know. May one know as what? As an extension, as the truth of oneself. May one know this param. And so param chet jnayet. May one know this. And then dhyatva kinchit. Yeah, so having contemplated on that I, which is really on that I in the form of that knowledge, which reveals that I am one with everything, that I am the whole, that I am limitless, that I am Ishvara, non-separate from Ishvara. And this is what is called Chid Ghana Rasam. Chit is oneself. Chit is jnanam. Chit is consciousness. Ghana means that which is chit itself. Chit in the form of the dense chit without any name and form. Rasam means the sara of that, the essence of that. So, having meditated upon, not meditated, here we can use the word contemplated. Having contemplated upon the nature of the I as the holder of the whole universe, and then and what is that? What does that contemplation yield? Swananda. That contemplation is in the form of Swa Ananda, Swasya Ananda. It is in the form of Swarupananda. It is in the form of the happiness, the joy that is centered not on the objects but on oneself alone. So that Swarupananda is the object of my meditation, and having contemplated on that Swarupananda, which has a dual satta, sattadvayam. Sattadvayam means, there is a nod to Maya Shakti here because we are talking of the manifest universe. So, at this level of consciousness and being one with consciousness, that is Paramarthika Satta. Satta means the truth. So, the reality. So, the reality here is Paramarthika. Paramarthika means the ultimate. There is nothing, no, where there is no duality, like in sleep or in samadhi while in waking, or when you sit quietly with yourself without any desire arising due to some great blessing. So that is called, this is one satta, but then at the same time, the satta, the reality of the universe need not be made to, need not be maligned or made to disappear. It is here. I see it, but I see much more than that. I see a lot more than just the things in the universe. I can see both the realities at the same time. I see the empirical reality of the names and forms, and yet I can see the presence of that oneness, that one single light of consciousness in the form of Ishvara, populating all these names and forms. The truth of all the names and forms, I'm able to seamlessly navigate between these two sattas. Then only it becomes krida. Then only the world becomes a play. Then only the world becomes kautuka, and just a wonder, full of wonders. And so Swananda Satta Dvayam, and then Siddhanta Swarasena. Siddhanta Swarasena. So the ingredients of this puja are now talked about. Oh, should I make a list? By all means. So will I need incense, lights, etc.? What all do I need? You just need Siddhanta Swarasa. Siddhanta teaching. Swarasa, the enjoyment and the recalling of the teaching. That those are the ingredients for this puja that we are about to see, that which is going to unfold in the coming verses. Let me make sure I have not left anything out. माया शक्ति विलासतो न गणित ब्रह्मांड भाण्डोदरे क्रीडा कौतुक सम्भ्रमात्मकमपि प्रत्यक् प्रकाशात्मकम् ध्यात्वा किञ्चित् अचिन्त्य चिद्घनरसं स्वानन्दसत्ताद्वयम् सिद्धान्तस्वरसेन पूजनविधिं Vakshyami Vishwatmanah. I think we have covered all the words. Very, very beautiful. An excellent verse. And it sets off a very nice section which we will enjoy next time. So, when is the next time? The next time is at the end of the month. Sometime, I think, 20, 22nd or something like that. Yeah. So that is when the next time will be. So not after 2 more Saturdays, not after one Saturday, but 2 more Saturdays. Yeah, 21st. Yeah, 21st May. Thank you. so that it is also on the website. Mean, I'll give the website also so that people can go there and make a note of it if people want. Please write the website address. All right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.